Everyone, this is TV Shores. It's June the 26th still. I'm going to pick up right where we left off on the last video, where we were seeing once again the Eye of Horus, which is also known as the Eye of Ra, which connects to the pineal gland. It's important that we understand that in ancient days, they made this connection with the pineal gland and the ways that they could manipulate it to control people for worship and for slavery, okay? It's very important that we understand that even then, the fallen had used this to gain control over people, okay? It is the fallen that set themselves up as false gods. And I believe the children of the fallen, because some are depicted as giants. And we know that in the time of Noah, we read that when the fallen had mated with women, that the offspring were giants, okay? All right. I want to continue on this just a little bit more. When we look here, this is some of the images I wanted you to see yesterday. This right here is a depiction of the eye, but it is once that deity has been raised to a higher authority, so to speak. It goes from an eye to a snake that spits venom, is how that's described. But here we see Shiva. That picture's not good and clear, but right there you see a good picture of Shiva with the eye on the forehead. Of course, Shiva, again, I'm going to tell you again, takes us back to CERN. This false god statue with this third eye, who is also called the Destroyer, okay, sits outside of the facility of CERN. This is not a coincidence. Everything is by purpose. Wait a minute. I'm starting to get off on a rabbit trail, so I'm not going to do that. Okay. Here we see the pine cone depicted, which represents the pineal gland. Remember this. The pineal gland. This represents, okay, this is all about the medical symbol. I guess I need to start there. And if you look up the medical symbol, you will see, let me see if I can find that right quick. I've got one that's got that on it. This may be it. Yes. You will see the rod, how it represents the core of man. Going up to the head, you see this? Going up. See, at the top in the center of the brain is where the pineal gland sits. That's what this represents right here. And of course, then we see the serpent intertwined. It's about DNA, but the serpent represents Satan and the darkness. Okay, we can learn a lot from symbols. You know, I never realized that until just a few years ago, and it had been in my face because I've worked in the medical field right much, and it just blew my mind when I saw it. But again, I'm going to put these links and you can look. Now, some of this information, you got to understand, you got to discern this stuff. You take what you can learn from it, but you do not absorb and try to, just don't get caught up in this stuff and let Satan get a hold in you by it, because it can happen, okay? I've seen it happen. Don't let that happen. I was wanting to see if there's anything else. I just wanted to point out on here, this right here, you can clearly see the medical symbol. Most people overlook what's on there, but you got to see what's being shown here. Now let's go back over here and see, we saw the serpent heads. We saw the rod. Here is the pine cone. And it's all about Satan intertwining and having core control. The rod represented the core of man. You saw that. It's about having core control, which is depicted by the pineal gland. And the serpent wants to be entwined in that. And it all has to do with the third eye. Again, I emphasize, we have been taught to stay away from this understanding of the pineal gland and the third eye. I used to feel the same way. And I do to a large extent now, as far as seeking it concerning New Age religion and participating with that, or yoga or meditation. But to learn information about it so I better understand, that's different. But you have to be careful. You don't want the enemy sliding in. Cover yourself in the armor of God. Here is the pinecone statue at the Vatican. Now, you can't tell me they don't see great significance in this, because they have given it this huge statue. You will also see it at the top of some of the staffs or different things. Just look for it on the top of things that are connected with the Vatican, because I've seen it on some of the staffs. I don't have any pictures of that right at the moment. Okay, I've covered all this. I want to move to this one. We looked at this yesterday. Pineal gland, our third eye, the biggest cover-up in human history. Now, first I want to point out, this article was written by someone that, by things mentioned in the article, you are left knowing that they are not writing this from a Christian perspective. They are not writing this from a biblical perspective. They are writing this from the perspective of just information that they have found. Okay? It's very important that we see even those who are not following Christ, who are not viewing this from a biblical perspective, can even see there are things going on here that should not be going on. Okay, I'm not going to read all this. Here we see mention of, it says a pineal gland, once tuned into proper frequencies with help of meditation, yoga, and various esoteric, occult methods. See, that tells you right there, you don't want to mess with this stuff. Various esoteric, occult methods. Meditation, yoga, and this with yoga, let me tell you what I found. With yoga, you probably understand what I'm saying when I say they do this this kind of murmur or hum. It goes that is about vibration, and that vibration has an effect on the pineal gland. It opens up the pineal gland, and it is an occult practice. It is an occult method. Do not play with this. I can't emphasize that enough. But I'm just making you aware of these things, okay? Pineal gland Pineal gland reference is also on the back of the US dollar with what is called the all-seeing eye. So see, it's not just me here, people. This is someone who is not even looking at this from a biblical perspective, which is a reference to the ability of an individual or group of individuals to use this gland and go to the other side, spiritual world, and possibly control the thoughts and actions of people in the physical world by knowing what they are thinking at all times in our physical world. Okay, do you understand what that's saying? The control that is being spoken out here that can be achieved through this pineal gland. And this is not someone who's seeing this from a biblical perspective. I have to emphasize that. This is someone who's just understanding what's going on. Okay, with this information right here, I need to point out to you. Go to YouTube and look up, it's a song, Eye in the Sky with lyrics. Read the lyrics as you listen to this song and see if it doesn't line up with what this right here is saying. Okay? That was a song that came out when I was a teenager. At that point in time, hey, I liked the song. Sounded good. I didn't pay any attention to what the words were saying. It just had a nice rhythm. There again, we go with music. We see what music can do. Music helps sets our mood. Music can, some of it is just so appealing to our ears and to our mind that we just get caught up in the sound of the music and the rhythm of the words, and we don't pay attention to what's being said. And Satan is getting a lot of stuff into us through music that we don't even realize. Go listen to this song. Pray before you do that God protects you from anything unclean that is connected with it. And then listen to this song and read these lyrics. It is going to enlighten you, to say the least. Okay. And that's Eye in the Sky with lyrics song. Okay. Various research being conducted so far confirms that there are certain periods in the night between the hours of 1 and 4 in the morning where chemicals are released in the brain that bring about feelings of connectedness to one's higher source. And from a Christian perspective, from a follower of Christ perspective, and I do get dreams and I do get flash visions, and there are times that the Lord wakes me up in the middle of the night and just speaks a single word or a phrase to me. I know this is the Lord. I know his voice. The Bible says we know his voice, and I know his voice. Okay. But a lot of what I experience does take place at night when I'm sleeping during these times, because for the last few nights, actually, I have had 2 or 3 dreams a night. And it is during these times because sometimes I don't wake up and I don't remember. But the last few nights I have been, and I've been waking up and writing them down. And it is during these hours that this happens. But it's the Lord speaking to me. Okay? It's not the enemy. I'm not tuned in to the enemy. I'm tuned in to the one true living God. Okay? Let's see. And then this talks about the conspiracy, how they are killing our pineal gland. I'm not going to read this again. It gets back into the fluoride, and it may contain some other things, but it talks about how this calcifies the gland and makes it no longer effective in balancing the entire hormonal processes through the body. Now, I want to say something about that. I worked in the medical field, okay? And it is absolutely unreal how many people are on some type of nerve medicine, antidepressant, what's the other, bipolar, medicines for bipolar disorder. It is unreal how many people are walking around out here that are on medications that affect the chemistry of the brain. Okay, the chemistry of the brain is this right here. Hormonal processes, okay? The pineal gland is being affected by this fluoride, and God only knows what else. It is causing all these imbalances in people. That's why we are seeing so many things within people that is negative that we used to never see. I'm going to cut this off right here, and I'll pick up here on the next one, okay? I love y'all. Bye-bye.